see the screen, right? I'm clicking on join stream. Let's see what's happening. You're backstage.
It's working.
Yes, indeed. Okay. We are there. They fixed it.
Yes, they fixed it. Thank you so much for waiting out with us, all of you. We really appreciate it. So I will do it like shortly, the introduction, because you know, we all know Terry. But I just wanted to say that I wanted to welcome you to our workshop about, you know, looking your best on video and be persuasive. And I will let Terry begin. This workshop will be recorded, and in the end, it will be a Q&A session. And Terry, you can begin.
All righty. Well, you know, we get a chance to have all kinds of fun with that. And as a recap for those of you that are joining us on this, and those of you, by the way, watching on recording, here's what just happened. It is now 36 minutes after the top of the hour. When we were to begin, we tried and tried and tried. You know what it's like, the frustration there of technology. And I think it's important to learn. We got to keep growing with that because it's not perfect yet. Hey, welcome to planet Earth. It just works that way here. And so what we did is we got in touch with Restream support. We're using Restream on this. Good people, and they were working on it diligently there, and they told us the problems with their website. And so we were trying everything. We had everything. Matter of fact, we're checking just beforehand how we've got our phones, we've got our hotspot ready to go, extra computers, extra thing, backups, everything ready. But these kind of things are going to happen. So when they do, not if, when they do, we just roll with the punches. So I think that's a really good thing. And we appreciate all of you to do it. So I guess this time I better be good, huh? Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to share with you a lot of things that kind of relate to our topic today. It's like, yeah, we planned this beforehand. Yeah, that was it. Just so we can make it in here and how to look good on video. But I want to share my screen with you here. Come in here and I'm going to share my application that we've got, and we'll get a chance to show you some of the features that are there. Oh, wait a minute. We shut everything down. We're trying to solve the problems. We shut it down. So we're going to bring it back up. This is a real good learning experience. It's not one of those formal, prim and proper kind of presentations. You know, I don't go along with those as much anyway, but we're going to make sure that you get a lot of value for this. And I'm reaching over here, pulling up my keynote slides, and make sure that you'll be able to see how that works. Pull it in here. Here we go. Got that. There we are. Yes, indeed. Okay, and I'm going to go over here to this and share my screen with you. There we are, and here we go. Yes, indeed. I love it when it works. There we go. And now sharing my screen. And Tal, if you can hear me, just please let me know that you're seeing my full screen on there. Is it coming through?
Yes, it's coming through.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, here's how to look your best and be persuasive on video. And I guess we can put an extra on there of even when the technology isn't working. But as I've said, we're going to have what I like to call a learning celebration, a celebration of learning, to see what this is like, how it's working, and the kind of features that are there, all of this there. And we're going to cover a lot. And also, as you go through this, if you have questions, I want to help you. Or you might be watching this on recording and you think, oh, I want to have a question. I wish I could have asked. Here's how you reach me, terry@terrybrock.com. And you can send that, goes directly to me. So if you say, I want to know, how do you do this? Or what about that? By all means, here's what you're getting right up front on helping. Well, as we look at what's going on with video today, amazing things are happening, even in the midst of things sometimes going, oh, whoops. We've got the ability to reach a world of people. And now, more than ever, one of the things that I think is a good that has come from the terrible tragedy of COVID-19, we acknowledge the tragedy and feel for those who have lost loved ones and who have endured lots of hardships in many different ways. We're finding that people are more open to using video. But there's more to it than just getting the right camera, getting the right microphones. That's important, yeah, but we want to do even more. The power for you today comes in several ways. It gives you the ability to extend your message worldwide, and that is profound. If the economy is not doing as well where you are, you can work elsewhere without ever having to leave home. We now can do that better than ever before in history. And that is a really nice thing. Also, we've got that worldwide coverage so that now if your currency isn't doing so well, and we're seeing countries where things are not going as well, they can tap into it and help others. We're working with some refugees right now that are in Malaysia. and they are providing support for video in many different ways. Janice Stanfield, a friend of ours, and given an opportunity for them to earn money from people around the world. And this is just one example of how things are being done. And it's, you know, it's not the same as being in person, but it's very much like being in person. We've adapted to that, and we've been able to grow and to change, because video is a really good tool that you can use for building relationships. We're seeing that happen now. People realize, yes, we'd like to get together, but in the past, they'd think you can only do that if you're in person, being able to shake hands, give hugs, those kind of things. Not able to do that right now. We will eventually, but we can still build relationships, and we get to be more creative in the midst of that. So we're going to look at video, and the most important part of video. I want to hear from you in the chat. Leave a message there, what you think is the most important part of video. Those of you that have had services or been working with me before know exactly what I'm going to be talking about here. But I'm going to be looking over here at the screen and get a chance to see it. But the most important part, go ahead and put it something in there, what you think. And by the way, if you're catching this on recording, you're watching the recording, before you'll get some benefit out of this also. If you go ahead and enter something in the chat, just put something in, we'll see that it was there, and we'll see what it was, and then look at what it is a little bit later. So this can be a learning experience even when you're watching a recording. It'll be something that will be unique. So just put in there what you think is the most important part of using a video, and we're talking about a video with Zoom, with Microsoft Meetings, Microsoft Teams, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, using even BIGVU. When you're using BIGVU, most important part. And that most important part is, I'll go ahead and hit the button here. I'm going to hit my right arrow key and move to the next slide, audio. That's right. Audio is the most important, because if they can't hear you, they're going to say goodbye. If they can't see you, well, but the audio is coming through, they might hang on for a little bit longer. So you want to make it a top priority for you to make sure your audio is coming through really, really well. And that means you want a good microphone. So here are some microphones that you can get, like a studio quality. The one that I'm using right now is over there on the side. It's the Yeti microphone. And it gives you the ability to have a lot. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to break out of this real quick here, come back over here and take a look at this and ask, how is my voice coming through in the chat? Put it on a 1 to 10 scale. 10 being, wow, it's just incredibly wonderful, and 1 being absolutely horrendous. Give me a 1 to 10 how the video is coming, or the audio, I should say, my audio coming through right now for you where you are. And I'll look forward to some of the messages that come in, how they are doing, because you want to make sure that your audio is good. I would recommend, from an entrepreneur to other entrepreneurs, I know many of you are entrepreneurs out there, you want to make sure that your audio is good. That's a good investment. And this time of year, with gifts being exchanged, if you have it in real well with Santa Claus or whoever might be giving gifts for you, then that would be good. We're getting a 10. Oh, good. We're getting lots of 10s. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. I'm glad I invested in this Yeti microphone long ago. And so we can do a lot with that. And matter of fact, what I'm going to do also, let me mention another thing. Thank you all for those comments you're giving, because I want to show you something real important. We often have, oh, whoops. I mean, like we did today. This is perfect. And I was gearing up to show this. I've got another microphone right here. I'm going to hold this up here. You see, this one is here. Matter of fact, why don't we do this? I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment. There we are. And what I'm going to do is come over here, and I'm going to shift over to another microphone. There we go. I'm changing that over. There we go. Turning that down. And now I'm coming through on this. Okay. So now another one, this will be like 2 dash, and then what number 1 to 10? Is it a 10? Is it a 1? Is it a 5 or whatever? Notice I'm using a different microphone. I'm clipping this on here. Obviously, it's not tucked under my shirt like we would normally do it, because, hey, we're training here and I want you to see it. But this is another microphone, and that's something important. You want to have backups. You want to have different mics. If one doesn't work, you can shift over to another. And that's real important. I particularly recommend having a good lavalier mic handy so that you can use it. And another, here's a little ninja trick that you can use. I'm reaching over here and I'm using a desk that's got the ability to adjust my height. So what I'm going to do, hey, I'm going to have some fun with this. Look at this. I'm going to press the number 1, and oh no, I'm sinking. I'm sinking. Whatever am I going to do? Come on, work with me on this a little bit. Okay, I'm sinking. What am I going to do? Well, I just stand up and I'm using a desk that rises. It's one of those rising desks. And this is a really good thing for you to consider. I want you to consider this because I can see now I can move around. And matter of fact, because I have the microphone here, notice even if I move back farther, my audio should stay pretty consistent. Should be in there pretty good. I'm seeing 8 or 9. Thank you, John, for appreciate that. We're getting a 12. That's good. So all of these are good. But the thing is, this gives you some creativity and some possibilities. Because if you use a lavalier mic versus the standalone mic, they both have pros and cons. What I'm able to do is I'm able to move over here like this. Or what I can do is I can even go, okay, where am I? It was a dark and stormy night when all of a sudden he rose there. Okay, work with me, please. You know, we're going to have some fun with that, but you see what you can do with this lavalier, the lav mic, you can take this, plug it into your computer, and it'll work. Let me show you what I'm doing and how I do that. Matter of fact, I've got a second one right here. I'm using one lav mic right now. This is a second and a backup that I have. It's got a little attachment right there. It goes to 3.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch. And here is the microphone. You can get that loose right there. There it is. You see, we got that microphone. And you see this right here. You'll take it and it plugs into a device like this. These are available at an Amazon near you or for an electronic store of your choice. And you take that, plugs it into a USB port, and then it goes in here. I plug it into the one on the red. The other is the headphones. And you see now this can go into my computer and it gives me the ability to move around a little bit. It's something I would like you to consider. Not very expensive at all. You can get these pretty reasonably priced. And this gives you the ability to have an extra, have a backup, be able to move around, but there's another benefit as well. By using the desk that rises, comes up a little bit higher, I am able to have a little bit more energy for some of those maybe more lengthy webinars or meetings that you're doing virtually. Let's face it, we've all seen it. Many of you have felt it. You know what I'm talking about. You're sitting there and you're going through the seminar, and after about an hour, hour and a half, you're getting that Zoom fatigue that they talk about so much. Even Eric talked about that. Eric Wang, the CEO of Zoom. And those kind of things do happen. But this is a real good thing right here. I see on Carrie saying you sound a little muffled now that you have the lab mic on. Yeah, I think it is about somewhere in an 8 or a 9. It's good. It's not bad. It's okay. But it's not the same as the Yeti, because here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift back over here. I'm changing my direction and I'm going to the Yeti microphone. Now I'm using the Yeti microphone. So it's a different microphone, and you'll see that it is good on both, and it's good to have that. I'm taking the lavalier mic and putting it over here, but you want to have that external microphone. Excuse me, and that's going to be real important, because here, let me show you what you don't want to do. Okay, hang on, bear with me here for a moment. We're doing this for educational purposes. Do not try this at home alone, unsupervised. I'm going to switch over to my MacBook Pro microphone that's built in, and I'm clicking on that. Okay, and now I'm using this. This is what a lot of people do, okay? A lot of people do. We do not recommend this. Do not try this at home alone. But it's okay. They've got a good microphone in the Mac. I love my MacBook Pro, and they do a good job with it. But people will get up and move around like this. How is my sound coming through right now? Is it coming through as well as it did before, or was it not quite as good? I'm thinking we're looking at not really good. The Yeti is a better one, but now using that internal microphone that's built into the laptop is not something we would recommend on a regular basis. I would recommend that you get a little lavalier like that. And by the way, many of you that are joining us, I know do some travel, or I should say used to do some traveling. And so what you want to do is you want to have something like this a little bit better. That's going to give you a lot more capability. And this is easy to carry on planes. Yeah, remember those things that we used to fly? Yeah, we go to an airport and we go through it. It'll come back to you in a minute. And we do that. Well, we're going to do that again sometime. And when we do, carrying one of these with you on the road can be really good and will give you a lot of capability. So I'm going to shift back over here to my lavalier mic, or excuse me, to my Yeti mic. And I'm going to go here, there. Now that's a little different. And then I'm going to press a button here. And what that will do is it will lower my desk again so that Terry will come back here, sit down, and just pull up a chair and join me here as we talk about all kinds of exciting things that are there. So I want you to see that those are the tools and some of those that are good for you. They're good for getting your message across to others, and you want to make sure it's there. And sometimes with the lavalier, my partner Gina tells me, good idea to just have this right here. Because when I put it right here, the way it's supposed to be, then the sound comes across real well. Now, you could also take this and put it something like that. So now you don't see the microphone, but there is just a slight difference in the quality of the audio. So it's a compromise, but I think it's good for you to know the options that you have so that you can make a decision. And it might be on some meetings, you choose one option. On another kind of meeting, you might want a different option, but know what those are. Oh, and by the way, I also have another backup. I have a smaller microphone here that I carry with me. I often carry this one on the road. See, it folds up like so, real easy. This is called the Raspberry, but it's no longer made. It is made by BIGVU, and the folks that put out BIGVU are the ones that do the Yeti. Also, they're not paying me to say this, although they should. They're good folks. They're good folks, but it's we take this and they have the Nano Yeti. It's this guy right here, his new little brother, which sounds really good and works really well. By the way, I'd love to hear from you. Let's help each other here on this. If you're using a mic that is particularly good, make a note of it. Just make a note. Hey, I'm using, or just put their name. You might say, you know, Yeti Nano equals good, or something like that. Or I'm using the whoopity-doo doodly wop equals bad. You know, whatever it is that you're using, if it's not as good, but that would be good. Oh, someone asked about the lav. Steven asked about the lav. This is one I got about 300 years ago, and I don't remember what it was. There's a lot of places where you can get this. If you just go to electronic store of your choice, wherever that might be, even if it's a river that might go through certain places, you could type this in, and you just type in lav, L-A-V microphone, or lavalier microphone. You'll see there's a bazillion of them out there. And I think that's the exact number, a bazillion. And then you don't forget the adapter, that little adapter I talked to you about right here on this. Oh, you can do that. Now, that's if you're on a Mac. If you're on a Windows machine, I think they'll accept this also. Just find out from your manufacturer what you need to do. But having one or two of those backups again would be a real good thing. All right, so I'm going to do that. Let me go over here. I got a bunch of slides I want to share with you, all kinds of goodies that we've got. So I'm going to share my computer screen again for you. Here we go. And by the way, again, I just so appreciate each of you and your patience and being able to hang in there with us when things are going on. Oh, and by the way, Alexa is mouthing off right now, so I'm unplugging my Alexa. And that's another thing. I love Alexa. Alexa is really good, but sometimes you have to turn Alexa off and go through that. Okay, we've gone through this with the quality of those. The lavalier are good. The internal microphone, I'd say no, and have backups. Now, with video, that's another important part, obviously. I'm using video right now. Webcams are good. I'm using a webcam right now that is the Logitech Brio. I like it a lot, and it works. Also, you can use DSLR, which is the kind of long camera that you can use, a very professional camera, and hook that up to your computer, and it gives really good video as well. But here's one that a lot of people don't think about, but now are realizing, hey, it works also very well, particularly if you have a more recent cell phone or mobile phone. If you have a more recent phone, the quality is really nice. We are using, Gina and I are using the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G. Yeah, that's the full name. It's like, it takes you 4 hours to say the name of the thing, but it's a great phone, and it's got really good visuals, and the iPhone 11, the iPhone 12 are very good also. So that would be an option if you needed a second or a third camera, or you wanted to pick it up and move it around a little bit to show people something. That would be a good option as well. And by the way, we talked a lot about video on an earlier video I did here with BIGVU. You might want to get a screenshot of this one right here so you can look it up later. Very comprehensive on videos that you can use and equipment and things to get on that. If you're getting started, this could be helpful. Or if you have some friends that are getting started, this would be a good video to send them a link for this one. Just look this up, go over to YouTube and type in BIGVU, and you'll see it's the one that we did on Monday, the 12th of October, 2020, 12 noon Eastern time. And by the way, everything was working fine on the technology then too. So it's okay. It's good. But that's a good screenshotable one. Is that a word? Screenshotable? I'll make it up. It is a word for me now. Screenshotable word, and it can give you a lot. So you'll get a lot of good information from there on that. And here's something else I want to make available for you today. This is the first time ever, because I put it together last night, from some modifications I had done before, updated it, and this is a checklist that is available for you. It's Terry's Look Great on Video checklist. Many of you, I know, as I see your names on the signs here, or what we're putting up there on the scrolling in the chats, that you are using these. You are doing many of them, but this would be something real good to have available to give to others. So if you're doing an interview, before you do that interview, you can send this over to them. And here's where you go to get this. You'll go over to bit.ly, that's bit.ly, that's the shortener, / and then here's the words you'll put behind it, all in lowercase, all as one word, no spaces. You'll put Terry's Checklist, TERRYSCHECKLIST. So Terry's Checklist is what you want, and you'll get that. It's like 3-4 pages of good stuff, what to do, my own personal experience of what's really going to work, from going through the trenches and the warfare of webinars and dealing with them year after year. And this one is packed with lots of reputation-saving tips. If you run into a problem, people go, oh, gee, something's wrong with him or her because she didn't do it right, he didn't do it right. Well, this can help you a lot. So you can cut it off at the pass, as they'd say in the old Westerns, and make sure that you don't have those problems hitting you on that. And by the way, another thing I'm going to mention to you, mark this down. If you get that checklist, you'll have an option to join us for a program we're doing on BIGVU, on the basics of BIGVU and some of the things you can do with it. We're having a study group. It'll be a study group with Terry Brock, kind of like, remember when we were in school and you get together with a few buddies and you say, hey, let's work on that test that's coming up next Wednesday. We need to all work together on that. So you get together and study. Or if you got a paper or something like that, well, this is what it is. I'll be leading the study group, and it's going to be at 5 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, Tuesday the 29th. We figured that would be a good time. That's one of those tween dates that are there. It's between Christmas and New Year's here in the United States. And of course, that's worldwide too. And so it's a good time to do it. So make a note of that. We'll mention that a little bit later. Another thing you want to be aware of is your background. Look at my experience with Skype. Many of you know I worked with Skype in their enterprise area, working with blogging and using a lot with that. It was just really a lot of fun. Great people, great product. We would have people that would do interviews with me, but they sometimes would have something behind them that we go, Charlie, do you want the world seeing that particular picture? And he looks, oh, I better get rid of that. Yeah, you better. So watch your background and make sure that you have your background working well, and also your audio background. Generally, a good idea is when you're in a meeting with a group of people, mute yourself when you're not talking. The reason is you never know when something inadvertent can come on. An ambulance goes by, a helicopter, or children are making noise, or something makes a noise just all of a sudden. So by using your mute on a regular basis, you'll be okay. Unmute yourself then with the permission of the host of the meeting, and you'll be okay. You can come back in. And using virtual backgrounds, there's a lot of good we can do with that as well. Right now, the more powerful systems are giving a lot of good with that. I just noticed just today, there was an announcement of the new Mac M1 computers. Zoom has a new release that is going to tap into that, and I think that's going to have something to do with virtual backgrounds as well. So it'll open up a lot. So in other words, if you're in the Mac world, you want looking at buying a Mac, I would seriously look at those M1 Macs. Apple is not paying me for that, and they should, but I'm just kidding. Actually, not that much. They could if they want. So, but we use these. By the way, here's one that I put together. It's nice. Notice that this I did last year. I was the chief retail advisor for ACE's Global Solutions, and worked with them. Did a lot on video, training people outside the United States, not in the States, but outside the U.S. All their retailers how to do it. And so you see, I would have that over my shoulder. You see, ACE, the helpful place, would be there, and over here on the left is where I would stand. And so by using a virtual background, it gave the branding for them. This is something you can do very easily. Here's another client that I worked with before. You'll see the Bitcoin. This is bitcoin.com, and which, by the way, is doing record right now. It's wonderful what cryptocurrency is, but that's a whole other thing. And they use the city of Chicago, even though they're not based in Chicago, as a backdrop. But it gives you a touch of professionalism that comes in. It's real handy. Another area you want to look at so you can really look good on video is your lighting. Natural versus electrical is a consideration. You're going to need both if you're in today's world, if you're doing it a lot. I used to use only natural, the light that would come through the windows, but now I'm using more electrical because, as I often say, lately it's been getting dark here in Orlando at night. Here in Orlando, Florida, yeah, it gets dark at night. It's amazing. And you need electrical lights. And you see, I'm doing broadcast and connecting with people where it is not dark, or maybe it's dark where they are, but we definitely need to do it when it's dark for me. So you'll want to get those. We go into in-depth more on that program I was telling you about before, and we'll do that also in our program that we'll be doing next week. So be sure and check your lighting. Check it, make sure that it's working, make it dark in your room, seal off the windows, and check to make sure it is working when you're checking it during the day. Check for both the night and the day, and you want to keep fiddling with that until it comes up just right. And to look great on video, there's some other things you want to do. You want to make sure that you present yourself well. And so however you do that, it's going to be important. And I would say your personal appearance matters. Clothes, wear what is appropriate. Appropriate might be a suit and tie, might be a business formal clothing in some cases. Other cases, it might be, that would be business formal would be out of place. What you would want would be something much more casual. So just be aware of it. And I think that's important. I'm saying that mainly for us guys because we usually don't pay attention to that stuff, but we need to. And by the way, guys, here's another thing, makeup. Now, women got this down. They understand, for the most part, I'm painting with a broad brush here. Yes, the importance of makeup and all that. And we often, as guys, go, that's not for me. Well, in video, it is. If you're going to be on television in a major market, it's like a real big-time grown-up kind of thing for television, yes, you're going to use makeup. They're going to do it. And there's a reason. It gives you a competitive advantage, guys. See, we say that, guys go, oh, okay, competitive advantage. So makeup is important. And check your background. Check what's going on behind you, so that you're able to work with it and make it work really, really well. Well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a moment and come back on here. And let's see, come back in this way here so that you can see what I've got. Let's see, I want to get rid of that and click over here so that we can, there we are, stop that. There we go, and do it. And I want to open it up for any comments or questions or things that might have come through with a question. And let's see, Tal, if you're there, you might have ability to come on board if you're able to. And let's see if we have any questions or comments or anything before we go through for the rest.
Okay, currently you don't have questions. People are just asking where the equipment is from, and actually got the answers from other clients.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can get the equipment. It's like readily available on Amazon. It's good. That's where I usually go. Or B&H is another one here in the United States. They're very good. Find a place that you can depend on, and particularly thank you for, or look at getting a place where you can get support. You want to make sure that support is available, and I think that there's a lot of places like that. So I think we're coming through outstanding questions.
Yeah, you have a question from Marcelo. Is asking if it is worth considering extra lighting equipment.
Yes, Marcelo, I would say it is, because when it comes to business, you want to do that. Fortunately, it doesn't cost a lot. Here, I'm going to show you one that I'm going to do. I hadn't planned this, but I'm going to show you. I'm using a little light like this. I searched this on the net, and available. It's called the Viltrox, Viltrox, L as in Lima, 132, T as in Tango. Real nice, real comfortable. Costs less than $50 US. You want to make sure you get the electric with it too. That's something that they don't make available always, but you'll want to do that. And so I would say yes, indeed. When your professional image is at stake, you want to do whatever you can to make sure it's enhanced. Well, let me get through, think of the questions you might have and put those in there. I'm going to go back to the slides because I got a few more things here I want to share with you and let you see as we go through this. Tal, any comments, questions, or anything I need to be aware of before we go back in there?
Just another questions about lighting. Do you use LED lighting, and what about ring lights?
I like those ring lights. I've got one over here that I'm using right now. They're kind of nice, particularly some of the smaller ones that you can take on the road when we do get back to being on the road, but they also work at home. And I think the LED is particularly good. I like it because you don't have to keep replacing the bulb. It's a nice technology. It's clean. It's, I think, more green as well. So there's some extra benefits, but just a nice light. I tend to lean toward the LED, but lighting is not my specialty. I would suggest contact somebody who sells that on a regular basis. Talk to them. A place like B&H I'm giving them some publicity on this, and they're good people. I've had good experience, so it's I'm not getting any commission on this. I just like them, and I know I can call someone and talk to a real human being, and they can help me on that. So that would be a good thing to do there. Any other questions?
Yeah, you have another question from Marcelo, another tech question. What webcam or camera are you using for this streaming?
I'm using the Logitech Brio, B-R-I-O, Logitech, and it looks pretty good. It's coming through, and I can pick it up and move it around. It's really, really nice for that. And I also have a Logitech C920 that I bought a few years ago. But I recommend this one. It has served me well, and I know others that do that or use it are also getting good results with it.
Okay, I think you can continue now.
All right, good. Well, let's go back to this. By the way, really appreciate all of you. This is fun. This is going to be one of our most memorable. You're hanging in there, and you folks are great. I'm just giving all of you a virtual hug. Going to be safe socially. We're physically distant, but we're connecting with you socially and doing that. So here we are. So that's what you want to look at for personal appearance. Let me come back in here on that, go through these again. And here's a golden tip. Okay, this is worth the price for the whole webinar that we're doing today. What you can do that helps enormously. It has helped me enormously when I share it with clients that I work with, showing them how to perform and what to do on video. They love it. They say, Terry, that really helped us a lot. And here it is. It is pre-performance recording. For instance, in Zoom, you can hit a little button and record what you have. And I would recommend you use the record to your computer, not to the cloud. The cloud could take a while. This is something you would do an hour, 2 hours before your big presentation. Go on and make a recording 30 to 60 seconds, because then you're going to be able to see what's going on behind you, which is real important. You don't see that, but your audience does. And if you record it, then you can look at it and go, whoa, I didn't realize that lamp was over there, or that picture was there, or that thing was out of place. Do it. Plus, you're also checking your audio. Now, you can do that on Zoom. You can check your audio and your video a little bit there, but I find it even better when you do a quick 30 to 60 second recording. So that's a little golden nugget I want to give you, and I hope you turn that into some good resources for you. Hope that gets some money for you. That's what I want. Entrepreneur to entrepreneur. Hope it generates some money for you for that. And then for a teleprompter, I want to talk with you about this so you can do this without having to memorize a whole bunch of stuff. Teleprompter is really a great way to do it, and I really find that it's important sometimes. A lot of clients I work with, for instance, in the financial area, they're financial advisors. They are under real tight scrutiny. And this is worldwide, usually, and depending on the government you have, that when they say something, every word must be in full compliance. They can't deviate from a script. My style is to, well, you can probably guess by now, those of you that know me, I'm casual and just conversational. Sometimes I get myself into trouble, but I have not used a teleprompter as much. But when I do use it, wow, I really like the one from BIGVU, because this helps you avoid memorizing a bunch of scripts. You just take it, you put it in BIGVU, and it's so simple. You just type it up, and then pop it over so you just send it over. I say pop. You send it over there to your app, and then the app comes in. You format it just right. You can make it the size you want. You can make it the length, the speed that you want, and adjust it that way. Really, really handy. And matter of fact, one of the things I suggest when I have used teleprompter, using BIGVU's teleprompter, I would make the screen flow just a little bit slower, not too much, just a little bit slower than what you talk. You want to practice on this a lot, because then if you're like me and you want to throw in a lot of little extras, you can. Again, this would be in a place where you can do it. So like, for instance, I could put it in there, I might say something like, and to do this, you need to use the video mode or whatever. And so I would say that, but that would be in the script. But what I would say would be, and to do this, you should really use that video mode, because I've had great results with it. Notice how I could fill in a few little extra words that make it more conversational, more friendly, by running the teleprompter just a hair slower than what you would normally do. It also is real good because it keeps you on track. So that way, if you tend to wander a little bit, not that I ever would do that. Yeah, I would never do that. Right. Yeah, it keeps you on track. And so it is a really good tool. And the BIGVU teleprompter, I find, real easy. And if you're not using that, hey, go ahead and get it and then take a peek at it. See how that is working for you. And I've got some bonus super tips now as we kind of wind down here. You're ready to wind down. This is where I save some of the best tips and juicy things. I know we're all excited about that and everything. Plus, it gives Terry a way to put some video on the video. There we are. I just had to do that. It's kind of fun. So here we go. Key to presentation success. Number one. Okay, here we go again. I'd like you to type in the chat. What do you see as the key? If you could say the one thing most important, there's a lot of things that are important. We've talked about those here. Number one, when you're making a presentation, type it in there real quick, and we'll be monitoring this on the monitors here. We monitor it on the monitors. I guess that's a good place to monitor things, but we'll look at that and wait for you to come through. And by the way, those of you that are catching this on recording, if you're watching this on recording, please put that in also. It will appear in the line, and it'll also feed to and contribute to the overall good that we have for everyone that's enjoying this. So this way you get a chance. Plus, it's kind of fun, because you put it in there, and then I'm going to tell you in just a moment, you say, oh, okay, I'll just see what it is. If you go through that extra step, it sticks with you even more. Our brains work that way. So everyone put something in there, just the one thing, the first and most important thing, the key to a presentation success, here's what I think it is. As a professional speaker, for now over 36 years, bouncing around the world and speaking to many different places and doing a lot, probably hundreds and maybe I think I'm up to thousands now of presentations virtually. Here's what I think is the most important, and it's to connect with your audience. Whether you're doing it in person where people are there, that was taken before 2020, that picture right there, and you want to have this and be able to connect with people. You want to make sure that they are getting the maximum view. That's far more important than even your audio, which is the most important part of video. You want to connect with them. Find out what you can do to help them. Use their language, solve their problems. Don't just talk about how nifty and groovy you think you are. We frankly don't care. All we want to know about is what can you do for me? And so target how you're going to help them. Here's another super bonus tip, and this is international, by the way. Wherever you are on the planet, these things are important. Yes, you want that audience connection, number one. Two, variety. Change it up a little bit. Have something changing on the screen. You want to make sure that it's there, and don't be boring. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, but I had to use that. Don't be boring. It's a dirty word, I know. And you want to stay away from that. And some of the worst, okay, hold it. Hang on, kids. Work with me on this. I'm going to show you some of the worst things you could do in a video presentation. Or if you're doing it in person, like you put a screen up. How many of you have seen somebody come up and the speaker gets up and they say, here's my next slide. And my next slide is here. It's just here. And let me read this to you. I know those of you in the back can't read this. So I'm just going to read it to you. And you see how small that is? I mean, you might be able to read the title. You might be able to read a little bit more if you do some work with it trying to go, but come on. This should never, ever happen. Unfortunately, it does sometimes. Do not put all that text on the screen at once. They've recommended, I've heard people really, really smart in presentations, no more than 6 lines with 4 words per line max, and preferably 4 lines. And I would say even better, try to use more pictures. More pictures, fewer words. And that way you're able to communicate even better. And let's watch out. Can we all agree? We don't want any more of those boring webinars where it's just slides and then just a voiceover. It is not human. And matter of fact, this is very painful to see, the voiceover, those slides. And I think, matter of fact, they banned that in the Geneva War Convention. You're not allowed. I mean, it's that cruel. And so the Geneva Convention, well, I'm just kidding. I said, no, but don't do this. Do not have just a voiceover with slides going by and something like that. We want to break out of it. So you want to avoid those kind of things. Make sure we get it beyond that. And then practice all the time. I missed that one here. Hold on. Let me get that last one in there. There. Practice, practice, practice. Make sure you're doing that. And you want to get an unfair advantage. Here's how you can do it. With BIGVU, you're going to be able to get that worldwide advantage. Here's something I would recommend. I'm doing it myself. When I want to make a big impact on someone, send them a BIGVU video, because you're going to be able to get the captions, maybe some screen, some music behind it, possibly some video, and make sure they know it's to them directly. Using this gives you really an unfair advantage, and that's okay. You can dazzle important people with a custom video that way. Try that. And then here's another thing I recommend with BIGVU. It's really good for YouTube because it gives you, most video today is consumed without sound. If you have those captions, that's good. Now, YouTube does have captions. I like that. But the ones that we get on BIGVU are far better. They're bigger, more bold. You can put them in different colors. Nothing against YouTube. They're doing a good job of that. But you can get even better captions with BIGVU. And you can emphasize keywords. That's something real nice. If you want to say, this is important, you can use that little slash at the beginning and at the end, or star, the asterisk at the beginning, at the end of the word, or words that you want like that. And BIGVU makes it really stand out. So this is a way for you to get a real advantage, and it's a sneaky competitive advantage over the others that are. Well, be sure and get that checklist. Again, it's the Terry Brock's Look Great on Video checklist. There's the address you'll want to go to. I think they put that in the chat here, bit.ly/Terry's checklist. That's what you want to get. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you on it. I put some time and effort into that one, and I really want to make sure it's good and helpful to you. This one is really packed with lots of reputation-saving tips. And don't forget about our extra opportunity. You'll see that when you get it. There is that option in there that you will have the chance to enroll in that, to get involved with it. And I'll be going into some real nitty-gritty as well as some basics. If you say, gee, I've not used BIGVU, or I tried it and it didn't work, or I haven't been able to figure it out, this is the place for you. You can get in there, and we made it very, very affordable and reasonable in price, so you can get that. And that'll be coming up Tuesday. And yes, it will be recorded. Hey, it's 2020. It's almost 2021. We record almost everything today. So yes, it will be. And we'll do that. So in sum, here's what I'm doing. Then I want to get to some of your questions here. There are enormous possibilities with video. Connect with your audience. And that is the most important thing. And then leverage technology to benefit your audience and you. By leveraging the technology, you'll be able to get a lot. Well, I'm looking forward to your questions here, and we want to thank you for joining us for this learning celebration. It's not over yet, because part of that learning celebration is we're going to listen to questions that you have and find out what we can do, what I can do to help you out. And Tal is standing by to assist on that. So Tal, what do we have for questions, comments, or criticisms, whatever would be there?
No criticism. You're welcome to ask your questions now, if you have some. I'm publishing now in the chat BIGVU's information if you want to download it, or you have questions or technical issues. And of course, I will send Terry's checklist so you can use it, and also the website. And in the meanwhile, you can ask the questions that you have.
And again, I really appreciate, Tal and I are saying, we thank you so much for your patience, your understanding through the technical thing. Again, it was the provider that's doing this. They had an oh whoops, and to their credit, they didn't plan that. It just happened, and they swung into action real fast and got it fixed in a few minutes, although those minutes seemed like days to us, because it's like that when you put things together. But make sure you have your backup plans and things ready to go for that. And I have to say also, I'm going to take advantage, because since I've got the microphone right here, and say what an honor it is to work with Tal and what she does as a professional, doing it so well, even in the midst of an oh whoops where it's going, she was great. She held it in there and did it just right. Thank you very much for what you did, Tal.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, we have a question. I'm brand new to BIGVU. Can you use it with Zoom? Currently, you can use it with Zoom. It's not live, but you can just put it in the background and read the teleprompter if you want to.
Yes, so that's a nice little cool. Also, you could create a video on BIGVU and then play it as part of a Zoom meeting.
Of course.
So that's another way that you can. So yeah, they're actually two different animals. There are actually two different functions there, but you can probably blend them together.
Yeah. Actually, I had one comment when you talked about the teleprompter and that you want to do it like a little bit slower so you can add more words. I put it in the chat, but I will say it in the live as well. We also added a new feature that is pause. So you can pause the script if you want to add words or it runs too fast for you, and the recording keeps going. So it's a really nice feature. You can use it on your phone or your computer if you have the Plus or the Workgroups and Teams plans.
Boy, I'm glad I came here today. I learned that. I did not know that. So that's a brand new feature. That's
it's
good.
a new feature. I'm here to help.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you. Very good.
I think we have a lot of thanks, but no more questions. So I really want to thank everyone for coming, and of course you, Terry, for important and interesting workshop. And with all the technical issues, I think you were amazing, like always. And
Thank you.
this is it, I think.
Yeah, and let me say, but before we conclude, thank you so much for being here. Those of you watching this right now, video really is powerful. You see, we're doing it, we're having some fun with it and everything, and I appreciate you hanging in there with us through all that's there, but it really is important. And I encourage you to invest in yourself with your time, your money, and your energy. Learn how to do it. Be willing to do that, to put it in, because then when you start producing videos with BIGVU, I'm doing it right now. I'm sending it to particularly important clients or prospects, and they see it and they go, wow, nobody's doing that. Well, exactly. And so you stand out in a favorable way by using BIGVU. Go through it, learn how to do it. We've got that program coming up next week. You'll learn how to do it there and find ways that you can do it and stay with it, embrace it. And I wish you much continued success in your journey.
Thank you, everyone.